Hey guys, so today's notes is over multiplying decimals. Now, this should be a review from 5th grade. If it's not, then make sure you write a lot of stuff down. So we have some steps when it comes to multiplying decimals. So your first step is lining numbers up to the right. So for example, let's say I have 1.2 times 4. Okay, I personally put the number with the most digits on top. So 1.2 has 2 numbers in it, so that's going to go on top. And then by line up numbers to the right, you don't have to line up your numbers by their place value, okay, like we would do with adding and subtracting. So that 4 is going to go right underneath that 2. Then count the number of digits behind the decimal. Well, if I look at my decimal here, I only have a decimal in this number. I have one number behind. So at the end, I'm going to want to move my decimal one place. So I'm going to write a note to myself off to the side saying, at the end, move that decimal back one spot. Now I can solve. So 2 times 4 gives me 8. 1 times 4 gives me 4. Then, step 4, move the decimal back into your answer. So what I do is currently my decimal is over here. I need to move it one spot, which is why I have that reminder. So I get 4.8 as my answer. Now, here are some example problems for you to try on your own. So go ahead and pause the video and give them a try. Okay, so hopefully you tried this on your own. Now let's go over this. So I have 12.1 times 4. I know looking at this, I have to move my decimal one spot. So I'm going to multiply 1 times 4 gives me 4. 2 times 4 gives me 8. 1 times 4 gives me 4. And I move that decimal over one spot, so my final answer should be 48.4. All right, for this next problem, okay, this is a good example of making sure you line your decimals up to the right. So I have 35.7 times 1.1. So I'm going to make that note to myself to move the decimal places 2 at the end. So now I'm just going to go through and multiply this. Okay, and now this is where step 4 comes in. My decimal is behind the 7. I need to move it in 1, 2. So my final answer is 39 and 27 hundredths. All right, and the last one. A picture frame costs $2.55. A party planner wants to buy 59 picture frames for an upcoming event. How much will they cost? So hopefully you set yours up like mine. All right, and now we're just going to multiply. So you can see at this point, I forgot to remind myself about moving my decimal. However, I can still go back and look. I need to move it 1, 2 times. So my decimal is right here at the 5. So I'm going to move it in 1, 2. So my final answer is $150.45. Now, really quick, let's discuss some rounding. Okay. When it comes to rounding, sometimes with decimals, you may have an example like down here where it says hundredths place 3 and 148 thousandths. Okay, but your final answer, they may ask you to round. So let's review rounding. So if I have a whole number, or if I want to round to the whole number spot, and I have a number like 84.4, this would round to 84 because if I look, my 4 here is less than 5, so I'm going to keep this number. Versus here, 43.9, well, the 9 is greater than 5, so this 3 has to change. So to round to a whole number, this would be 44. All right, we're going to apply the same process here, but I want us to round to the tenths place. So here I see the 7. So that means this 5 has to change. So it's going to be 4.6. For this example here, I see I have a 2. So this, I'm going to just drop that, and it's going to stay as 73.1. All right, and this is a really important example of the hundredths place, okay? A lot of times when we're dealing with money, all right, we end up with the answer in the thousandths place, but we know with money, I can't have that. So it has to be rounded to the hundredths spot, okay? So since there's an 8 here, that means I have to round this 4 up. So I'd say 3.15 is my final answer. All right, now let's talk about your homework assignment for today. So if you head on over to Google Classroom, underneath classwork, scrolling down to week 5, you'll see your multiplying decimals assignment. I'm going to click on the Google form, and as I can see, it is only 5 questions. Now, what is different is the numbers 1 through 4, you will need to type in your answer. Okay, you will need to type in your answer. So be very careful if you do not type it in correctly. It will count it wrong. So once again, if you have any questions, please reach out to your teacher, and you'll have a nice day.